How's it going, guys? Andrew here with Justified EDC, and today I'm going to get you guys another EDC update. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. Not a lot has changed. A few things have kind of swapped in and out. Overall, it's pretty similar, I think, to the last time I did an update. But I know you guys really like these videos, and I know when I watch YouTubers, I like to kind of follow along in their EDC journey and how they adapt to different gear and all that kind of stuff. So I figured I'd throw another one out here. This is going to be pretty laid back. We're just going to go through everything. I'm not going to do a POV for this one of like showing you how I carry this. I have videos previously in my feed that you can look at if you want to see kind of how I carry this stuff. And also just a disclaimer, especially when we're talking about knives and stuff like that, just to get it out of the way, yeah, I'm going to carry multiple knives. No, you don't really need to do that. It is what it is. I review knives, so I often carry multiple ones to test them at the same time. It's just what works for me. But just getting that out of the way so I don't have to get any annoying comments about it. But we're going to hop right into that. But first, I have to thank the sponsor of the channel, Auxiliary Manufacturing. They've been really helping out the channel, buying me some gear to help improve my setup, sending me knives to review. I do have a discount code with them, Justified10 will get you 10% off your order. And depending on when this video goes live, if it's still Black Friday weekend, they're having a Black Friday sale going on. So definitely go check out Instagram to see what kind of codes these got active, and down in the description you can use my code year-round to get 10% off. So thank you, Mike, for sponsoring the channel, and we will hop right into this. So let's get boring stuff out of the way as usual. Keys. I know I said in my last update that I was looking to change kind of my keyring setup. I've been using this Travax Link, I think is the name of it. And to be honest, I don't even really like this that much. I just haven't found anything else that I like better. It's a little bit too long. I think it's supposed to be able so you can kind of like hook it to your belt loop and then dangle your keys in a pocket, but I keep my phone in my back pocket, so I don't really want my keys and my phone in the same pocket. But so if you guys have any suggestions for organizing your keys or key clips or anything like that, please leave them down in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. But that's what's on there. And then the only interesting stuff on here: car keys, house key, apartment key, all that good stuff. This is the this is the Streamlight Pocket Mate, which just a tiny little keychain light. It's actually pretty bright, has 2 different brightness settings. But I mainly keep this on here not as like a keychain light. I really rarely ever use this on my keychain. But because it has a clip that you can undo here, and then it has this clip on the back that you can clip to a hat and then kind of use it as a makeshift headlamp. I like having that around, so I have hands-free light. The only other interesting things on here is this. I believe these are called Rescue Me tools. It's basically got a spring-loaded glass breaker in here that you just push this up against a window, it'll pop a window, cut your seatbelt, you have like a manual glass breaker there. Just a good thing to have. I used to just keep one of these in my car, but I like having it on my keys for if I am like in someone else's vehicle or something like that. I still have this with me just to be able to get yourself out of a wreck. And then the only other thing on here of any interest is this. I apologize. It's the In Charge by, I don't remember which company. But it's basically this little keychain charging cord that has your lightning port that also works as a USB-C. On one side, you have USB-A, but you can also pull these, and you have, and I think I always mess up USB-C, micro USB. I think these are USB-C. Micro USB is also on here. So you can basically charge to or from any device, either from a wall to your computer or your phone, or from phone to phone, computer to computer, all the different stuff. You can basically mix and match whatever charging ports you need. So that's just on there. It's not my main charger, but it works in a pinch, especially if I'm out and I don't have a cord, or if I'm with a friend that has an Android and they need to charge and I don't have an Android charger because I have iPhone. They still have the stupid lightning port. So that's what that's for. Again, keys, pretty basic, pretty boring, but got to get it out of the way. Another thing that you might be interested in is my wallet. I don't actually remember. I think this is different from what I was carrying in the last update. I have been switching wallets out. I usually carried an Open Sea leather, or it's actually back when it was branded Das Offenemir, the German word. But they rebranded as Open Sea leather, so I was carrying one of those. I was carrying a Loyal Strickland. I was carrying a Lost Dutchman. But I've really settled on this rustic heirloom hitchhiker, I think is the name of it. It's just really simple. This was the natural leather. It has obviously patinaed really well, especially because I have this brass bead on here, so the brass rubbing up against it has kind of darkened it. It's getting nice and patinaed, but it's basically just a nice slim card wallet. You have the snap here where you have a slot for a bunch of different cards. I'm not going to show you those. And then in the back, you have a spot that you can put, they advertise it just doing like once folded cash and just having it stick out the side here a little bit. I prefer to just fold it twice and stick it in here so it's all closed up. But I also have like my punch card for my, for the shooting range that I go to and that kind of thing. So, and then I just had this little Twisted Tea brass bead on here because I think it's fun. So I really like this wallet a lot though. It's nice and slim. It doesn't have any extra stuff that you don't need. It's pretty easy to get access to all your cards. I like having the lanyard. I always thought lanyards on wallets were dumb until I started using one, and it kind of just rides in my pocket like this, and it's really easy to just grab the lanyard and pull your wallet out. So really been enjoying that wallet. But moving on to something different. My flashlight has obviously changed, has not changed. It stayed the same. This is the Surefire Stiletto Pro, and I don't see this changing anytime soon until another company comes out with like a slim light like this that has the same amount of output. I know there's like one Chinese brand that has like a slim light like this. I think Olight has one as well, but I don't really like those brands. I don't trust Olight. And a lot of them don't have like the back switch here. So the way it operates is you have 3 different low, medium, and high. By this push button here, this lets you program it for what modes you want to come up first. It is USB rechargeable. Right there with micro USB. But you also have a tail switch that goes straight to high, which I like a lot. So usually this is just kind of an admin light for me. I use this a ton at work. But it is nice to have the option to be able to pull it out and then blast someone in the face with 1,000 lumens. So that is nice. You can also, I think it's triple tap to go to strobe. I never use the strobe function, but it is there and it doesn't like accidentally come on very easily. So I don't really mind it. But yeah, you can see it's all scratched up and beat up. I've dropped this a whole bunch. And it's held up really well. Had no issues with it. Holds a charge for a good amount of time. I usually prefer lights that have exchangeable batteries, so if it runs out, you don't have to wait for it to charge. But this holds a charge for a good long time, and as long as you keep it maintained, it's really not a big deal. But I just like the slim form factor of this light. Been carrying this for a couple of years now, and I don't see it changing pretty much anytime soon. Let's see. Let's go into kind of multi-tools. So this is my multi-tool setup. This is the same as it's been for a little while. I am looking to kind of change this up a little bit. This setup works really well, and the way I've been doing it is this goes in my back left pocket. It's pretty slim, all things considered. It's kind of out of the way. But the reason I got some of these tools, especially this Leatherman here, is because I wanted one-hand accessibility of the tools. And having this in my back left pocket and in a slip kind of defeats that purpose, I've realized, is because you have to pull the slip out, I have to get it to my right hand, I have to pull it out, and then once I have it in my hand, yeah, all my tools are accessible one-handed, which is really nice, but I still have to have that step of grabbing this, pulling it out of my pocket, transferring it to my other hand, getting it out of the slip, sitting the slip down, and then opening the tool. And especially while I'm at, like, it doesn't really matter if I'm just like doing something around the house or whatever like that, but when I'm at work, I want my tool in my hand right away with one hand. So I've been trying to figure out a way that I can have a workaround with this. I know you'd be like, put this in your front right pocket. It's kind of big, takes up a lot of space, and I have other stuff in that pocket. But for now, the tools that are in here, first of all, this is a slip from Epic Handmade. There's his logo right there. This is taking an awesome patina. It is really formed to these tools. So they kind of snap in like Kydex at this point and have good retention. Same thing with the Leatherman. Really solid retention then. And then the tools inside here, I have the 5-inch Knipex Cobras, which are very beat up at this point. I use these all the time in and outside of work. I prefer this kind of plier to like a needle nose, just because you can still do a lot of the needle nose tests, like just picking stuff up with a tip with these, but you get a lot more torque, and you can get you can grab a lot more bolts and stuff like that with pliers like these, as opposed to something on like a Leatherman or a Victorinox Swiss tool or something like that. So I prefer these. And I had the 4-inch versions. I like the 5 a little bit better. I like the rubber coated handles. I like you get a little bit more width in terms of your grip area. But yeah, these are great. And then I'm not going to go over everything on these, but it's basically I just carry this for the drivers and the bottle opener. I never really use the knife. I have the retention ring on here just to be able to pull it out of my pocket easier. But I like this because it's one-handed operation of all the tools, and they're all locking, which I prefer. So if you guys have any suggestions for something like this, it must be one-hand operable, and they must be locking tools. But really all I need is for it to have some drivers, your basic drivers on it. I don't need an extra knife. I don't need a bunch of extra tools. And all would be nice if it has it, but if it doesn't, whatever. So if you want to throw me some suggestions, I've thought about, I really like the new Leatherman Arc, but I would miss having these kind of these kinds of pliers. So I don't know, maybe going back to like a more normal multi-tool that I can just clip in my pocket, and then some kind of setup where I can have these on my right side. But I don't know, just thinking out loud here with you guys. If you have any suggestions for something I could swap this out for, let me know. Let's go to medical. So this will kind of lead into my other caveat here. So medical, super important if you're carrying a knife or a gun or anything like that. Basically, if you're going to be prepared to put holes in people, you should be prepared to fix holes in yourself. Alternatively, even if you don't carry any kind of weapon, I think medical is still a really great thing to have on you or around you, because you're way more likely to come in contact with a car wreck, either yourself or someone you come across, or someone that hurt themselves on a hiking trail, or someone that fell at an event you're at. Like there's a multitude of reasons where medical gear would be useful in a non-violent situation. So it's just a good thing to have. In the summer months, I will either slip this into my back pocket or in a fanny pack, and I think I've shown that before. In the winter months, this just rides right inside my coat. I have it like a full-blown IFAK that I keep in my vehicle with like many more tourniquets and chest seals and all that good stuff. But right in here, just like immediate quick access stuff, I have the Snake Staff Systems ETQ, which is just a very compact tourniquet. And then I have a roll of flat compressed gauze and a Sharpie just to be able to write times on my tourniquet. Also just nice to have a Sharpie around, but that's why it's in the medical kit. This gauze is great. It packs up super slim. You could even just throw a pack of this or two in your pocket, and honestly, you'd be able to solve a lot more problems than most people walking around day to day would be able to. I actually did use this kit the other day. If you can see here on my hand, I cut myself pretty good, like the whole length of this. It's healed up pretty nicely now, but it was gushing blood everywhere. I was able to reach into my coat pocket, pull out this gauze, open it with my teeth, and then just kind of make a makeshift compression bandage before I could get to the hospital. So this stuff is really good to have, especially if you work in any kind of trade or around any kind of machinery. I'm a machinist, so I'm around a lot of heavy equipment that could potentially cut you. So having medical, always a good thing to have. And if I didn't mention, the pouch that all this is in is by Wilderness Tactical. They make a bunch of different sizes of these with different size pockets. I know some people run like magazines and stuff like this just down in your pocket, but I found this works really great for the ETQ and some flat compressed gauze, which is pretty much what I carry on a daily basis. And then, like I said, I have more extensive IFAKs other places. So that kind of leads into like, and I know you guys want to see the guns and the knives. I'm doing those last. It's on purpose. I'm going to put timestamps for everything. So if you don't care about any of this, you can skip to the end. I'm just kind of trying to make you wait. That leads me, get it? I made a joke unintentionally, into some of the other stuff that I keep in my jacket in the wintertime. This is not stuff that goes in my pockets or anything like this, but it's stuff I like to have around. During the summer, it's usually in a fanny pack close by. So in terms of the what's in my jacket, it is this IFAK. and then these 3 items here. So I'm going to get the IFAK out of here because we already talked about it. One, just a pair of wired headphones. Why wired? We live in the 21st century. Yeah, I know. My work doesn't allow us to use Bluetooth because some of the radio gear that we have inside the building, so wired headphones it is. The other thing in here is another light. This is the Streamlight Clipmate, which is USB rechargeable down here. And then you just have this button up here to change. You have a couple different brightness modes. I have it on the red light right now, so it's kind of hard to see. But you can switch this between white and red light with a couple different brightness options. And what I like about this is the clip that's on here can clip to pretty much anything. It's like slightly like a cloth grabber, but it can clip to a hat or a jacket pocket or a bag or anything like that. And then you can direct where you want this light to be pointed. So it's just one more way to have some like hands-free lighting options. You can even clip this to like the hood of your car while you're working on it, point the light down. And I like having the red light because it doesn't impact your night vision as much. So if you're your eyes have already adjusted to the dark and you don't want to have to readjust your eyes after using light, red light is really good for that. So that's why. And this just kind of rides in one of my jacket pockets. And then the last thing here is just a couple little supplementary tools. One, Bic lighter, nice to have for a multitude of reasons. Starting fires, lighting candles, giving to your friend that's a smoker, all that good stuff. And then over here I have just a Victorinox Classic, mostly for the toothpick and tweezers. And I like having a tiny little knife around because without fail, my wife often will ask for a tiny little blade to cut her fingernails or something with, so good to have. Nice little pair of scissors. Like I said, I don't use the tools on here super often. I mostly keep these around for the toothpick and tweezers. And then I just have a check tool on here, a little pipe tool. So that just all stays right together and rides right in here. And then this leather's also from Epic Handmade, this organizer. So shout out to him. I'll put links to all this stuff in the description. But that's where all these tools go. So pulling all this stuff back out here, this is what rides in my jacket in various pockets. So let's get to what you all actually came here for. Should we do gun or knife first? Let's do gun first, because I think more people are going to be interested in the knives. So during the winter months, the fall and the winter, really as soon as I start wearing layers, I will carry this gun year-round, really. I have like a HK VP9SK that I will often wear when it's very hot out and I'm not wearing a bunch of layers. But this is like my main carry gun, and pretty much during all the fall and winter, this is what I'm going to be carrying. So this is a Glock 17, full-size Glock in 9mm, Surefire X300, 1,000 lumen output weapon light, which is very nice to have. And then really the only mods that I've done to this that aren't even really mods, I haven't really changed any of the internals, but I put this Emissary Development pressure switch on here. It's just easier when you're shooting. Your thumb kind of naturally rests here in that kind of thumbs forward grip. It's very easy to just come down here and either momentary turn that light on or press down for constant. So I like that switch a lot. It doesn't affect holster compatibility at all. The only other things on here is I have who makes this? I think it's Cogworks. This extended slide stop, slide release. It's ambidextrous because this is a Gen 5 Glock. But really all it does is it puts it up higher to keep it out of the way of your grip here, because I often on stock Glocks ride that slide stop and then I don't get locked back on an empty magazine. And just for the size of hands that I have, it puts it back here for a much more natural position to be able to hit this as the slide release doing reloads. Before I kind of had to break my grip ever so slightly to hit the slide release when it was down here, but now I can keep my my master firing grip and just hit that slide release. So that's what that does for me. Also, again, ambidextrous, you can hit it with either side. Then I have a Vickers Tactical a magazine release here, which all it really does is puts the actual impact point of dropping the mag back a little farther for the exact same reason of with my hand size. I wear a medium-sized glove, so my hands aren't small, but they're not huge either, and it's just a little bit easier to consistently hit that magazine release without breaking my firing grip. So those are really the only mods on here, other than the magazine. I also have Vickers Tactical base plates. They're just a little bit wider, and they have these cutouts here on the side, so it's much easier when clearing malfunctions to be able to strip a mag. Normally with Glocks, you kind of have to go in here like this with the stock base plates and kind of like wiggle your way out. But here it's very easy. You can see how those stick out there on the side and have those scallops. It's very easy to come in here and rip a mag out and be able to change that out, clear malfunction. So those are really the only mods I've done to it. These have the Glock. It's kind of hard to do this on camera. These are the Glock factory night sights. They are metal and they are glow night sights, which is nice. I don't like Glock factory plastic sights with the U-notch very much, so I prefer night sights. This one, really not even for illumination at night, because again, especially with a weapon light, you're going to silhouette your sights anyways in the dark with a weapon light. But it's actually more for, I keep this on my side table at night, and it's very easy in the middle of the night to wake up and see these two. These glow very bright at night. It's very easy to see those and know exactly where my gun is. So that's really why I have those on there. Plus, I've seen plastic Glock sights break, so metal is usually better. In that case, then, what it's riding in is a traditional arms holster. I think they call this their jab model, which is just their appendix carry light-bearing holster. Discrete Carry Concepts monoblock is the best clip I found for holsters. Very stable without having multiple clips. And then you have your concealment wing here, tuck the grip into your body. I very much enjoy this holster setup. It's nice and slim, doesn't have a lot of extra sticking out the bottom, so that with that cut, it doesn't poke you in the groin really. And if you were running a threaded barrel or a comp or anything like that, it's already open cut for that. Already cut for an optic as well if you had an optic plate on there. And then my spare magazine is it's just your standard 17 round Glock mag, but with a +5 extension from Shield Arms right there. So that gives you a total of 22 rounds in your backup. Now, do you really need to carry an extra magazine for more rounds? Probably not. Are you really ever going to be reloading and then firing 2 full magazines in a civilian application? Probably not, but I do like having a spare magazine because most malfunctions on a handgun that you would encounter, you can easily fix by stripping the mag and putting a new mag in. On firearms, especially like a Glock, your malfunctions are usually going to be magazine related, so that's why I have a second one. And the extension just makes it a little bit easier to come in here and grab it inside the waistband. So this is riding in a Superstition concealment magazine carrier. Again, Discrete Carry Concepts clip, which I really enjoy. You can cant it pretty much any direction you want. You can flip it for left or right hand. Because I'm right-handed, these kind of ride like that. I don't like the sidecar style holsters just because you're kind of forced to have your magazine in one position. And it just kind of feels awkward. Like I said, I've tried sidecar style holsters. I truly believe that a detached magazine holder is just a better option. Also, then if you don't want to carry an extra magazine, you don't have to. And you don't have to play with your holster and take it off and all that dumb stuff. So I really like these magazine carriers. I think they're awesome. I pretty much exclusively run these now. They work for any 9 or 40 double stack. They have adjustable retention in here. And then I guess the last thing here is my carry ammo, which is Speared Gold Dot 124 grain plus P. That's what works in my carry guns. It's a pretty trusted and proven round. There's lots that work though. So basically all I'm saying is whatever ammo you want to run in your gun, run it at the range, make sure it feeds in your gun, shoot it every once in a while. The recoil impulse is going to be a little different. You want to make sure it still feeds in your gun okay, especially as hollow points. So I'll get off my soapbox, but that's my carry gun for the fall and winter months. Now let's get to what everyone's been looking for. So my knives. So I will usually carry I always have a fixed blade on me. Pretty much always. It's very rare that I don't carry a fixed blade. And then I will often have a folder with me as well, either a modern folder or a traditional. Sometimes all three. Usually if I'm testing stuff. I know I can get most of my work done with just this, or just this, or just this, but I test a lot of knives, so it's easier to carry multiple at the same time to be able to test them out in one day instead of having to dedicate one day to just testing one knife. So there's my reasoning. So these are just the three that I had in my pocket most recently. I'll pull out a couple other ones here that have been in the rotation in the last couple months. So let's just start with fixed blades here. This is the Offensive Industries Fenrir L, which is just the larger Fenrir model. You have Nitro V steel, 1/8" blade stock, jute wrap handles, ambidextrous deep carry Kydex sheath. That I carry in my front right pocket, kind of at the front of my pocket, like if you normally carry a folder over here, I kind of carry it in the front of the pocket. That's all that sticks up out of the pocket, and then it's just very easy to either come in here with your forward grip and pull it out for utility use, or I keep it oriented in that direction so I can come in here and grab it in reverse grip edge in for defensive use. But again, if you were a lefty, you can switch this and carry it on the other side. So this is a knife I've been testing. I already reviewed the Fenrir and the Fenrir M, so this is its big brother. Going pretty well so far, scratching this blade up a good amount, but it's holding up well. So I like to have a fixed blade for defensive use. Let's see some other ones that I've been carrying here. The little brother to the Fenrir L, the Fenrir M, which is same handle with a shorter blade and thinner blade stock. I also really enjoy this little guy. It's very slicey, very lightweight, easy to carry. But I did the review on that, so I've moved on to this. Kind of either as a backup fixed blade or just something really low profile and lightweight and easy to carry, the Knives by Nuge Wicket. Just a nice little 3-finger grip utility kind of knife. Again, Offensive Industries sheath. Excuse me, guys. Getting over a cold a little bit here. And then the bigger fixed blade that I've been carrying. I mostly carry this to do the review, but also if I'm going to be doing any kind of camping or going to be outdoors or anything like that. This is the Crossroad Custom Oarlock, so a nice full-size fixed blade. You can tell this has been used and abused. I've batoned with this, feather stick, done all your kind of fire prep, wood stuff with this, bushcraft, whatever you want to call it. You have TerraTough handles, Nitro V steel again, just a good drop point shape. And again, Offensive Industries deep carry pocket sheath. It's a little much in the pocket, but it's still more convenient than carrying it on your belt, especially if you're not like really out in the bush, you're just out building a fire or something, easy to slip this in the pocket. So those are the fixed blades I've been carrying. I'll leave the L out here because that's actually what's in my pocket today. And then for modern folders, what's been in my pocket is recently, I just got this here. This is the TRM Three Rivers Manufacturing Neutron. This is like their smaller version of their flagship model, the Atom, which is just the same knife but a little bit bigger. You have 20 CV steel on here. Nice stone wash micarta scales. You can get all different kinds of scales for these. Deep carry clip. Riding on washers, extremely smooth. Really nice thumb stud action, which I prefer thumb studs on folders. And really cool here, they have these like O-rings that are replaceable on the thumb studs, which give you a little bit of grip, but also you can get all different kinds of colors and swap them out pretty easily. These are actually glow in the dark, which is really cool. I threw them on there because I had white on there, and I was like, I could have white, but they also glow, so that's cool. So I'll try to light these up here. See if you can kind of see that on camera. Probably not with the light. See if I can get these to glow on camera. Come on, don't let me down. It doesn't want to do it on camera, but they look really cool in the dark is all I'll say. So that more recently, before that, I just did a really big knife sale and got rid of a lot of my modern folders because I don't carry a ton of them anymore, but I have been carrying my Spyderco Para 3. This is like one of the oldest knives in my collection of like actual good name brand EDC knives. So I kind of hold it off to the side here. It's kind of hard to see because of the belt satin, but this is all used and abused. I carried this for a long time when I was working on a farm and did all kinds of dumb stuff with it that it shouldn't have done. I snapped the tip off at one point and then it had to be resharpened. Actually looks pretty good for having the tip removed. And then these are just, I've gone through so many different scales with this, but I've come back to just the stock black G10 scales. This was like a blue barrel spacer I had on here for a while that like the anodization is coming off, but I don't feel like getting a new one, so it's blue. And then these are actually Cordura adhesive stickers from Rip's Garage Tech. He's called them scale stickers. But I bought some just because I like cool camo patterns. This is just like M81 woodland camo. He has like tiger stripe and multicam and all that good stuff as well. Some splatter paint ones, but I grabbed these just to see how they worked out. I wanted to carry them and use them for a while and see how they held up. So far, I'm happy to report that after hitting them with a little bit of, like putting them on, hitting them with a little heat, they really haven't moved at all. I was really expecting the corners to peel up or anything like that, but it feels really nice in the hand to have that kind of Cordura feel on there. The camo patterns are sick, and it's a nice way to be able to kind of change your scales out without a lot of money. I think they're like 15 bucks each. And then I have a Lynch Northwest deep carry clip on there. This is not the Para 3 specific one. I have a blue Para 3 specific one that opens up that lanyard hole, but I don't run lanyards on folders pretty much ever. So that's what that is. So those are the two, if I'm going to carry a modern folder, that have been in my pocket. And then in terms of traditionals, I also got rid of a lot of my traditionals, but some of the ones that stayed around that I've been carrying the most are these two right here. So this is a line steel, what do they call this? I think they call this the roundhead, but kind of like a Barlow-esque pattern, like a modernized Barlow. Nice swedge on there. This is an M390. This is kind of like a modern traditional. Does it say M3? Yeah, M390. Titanium bolsters, real Stag covers, which I really, really like. I love the look of Stag. Also just like Barlows a lot, so this was a huge win for me. Half stops, which I like a lot. The spring is a little bit light, but the walk and talk is really nice, so I don't mind it at all. All the liners and the back spring are crowned, as is the actual spine of the blade is crowned as well. Lion Steel just does a really nice job with their slip joints. I don't like a lot of their modern folders, but if you want a really nice modern traditional slip joint and you don't want to pay like Jack Wolf prices but get pretty much the exact same fit and finish, go with Lion Steel. I think these are like, man, I think the Stag ones are like 150. You can get some of the different materials down like lower to the $100 mark, and you can find them really cheap on the secondary. So that's on here, riding in a hitch and timber slip with a little Ultim bead. Same thing here, hitch and timber slip, little Ultim bead. This is a Case Knives Barlow. You can tell I've been getting into Barlows recently. I really like to find one of these in carbon steel, their CV or whatever, but this is in stainless. But I think this knife this is such a perfect example of what Case is capable of. There's like, the back spring and everything is perfectly finished. There's no gapping. Everything meets up and is super flush. You can't even really feel any difference in materials there with the liners. Same thing when it's open. Everything meets up really nice and is flush. There's your main clip point blade. This also has half stops, which is unusual for Case, on both blades, which I love. And then you have your little pen blade as well. Again, this one doesn't meet quite as flush there, but that doesn't really bother me. But yeah, the fit and finish on this is just really, really nice. You have your nickel silver bolsters. I don't even know if this is a synthetic. I think this is just like a black synthetic, but it also could be a polished G10 or micarta or something like that. But I think it looks really, really nice, and it's just a really nice example of what Case is capable of when they try. So half stops, nice fit and finish. Blade came nice and sharp. Both of the blades are actually centered. So I know they did, this is one of the models they brought back this year, so if you can find a Case Barlow that has been released recently, definitely hop on it, because they're really, really beautiful traditional knives, and I think they're only like 75 bucks. So that is it for knives, and I think that's really it in general for all my gear here. So let me pull out just like one of everything, just to give you something to look at here as I do my outro. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you guys being interested in my carry. I know it's something that I really enjoy, watching other YouTubers, even if people aren't like knife YouTubers or whatever, or gun tubers, but they kind of like discover the EDC space and then do updates. I always love seeing that kind of stuff. It also just gives me ideas of how I can change my carry out. Like, as much as this stuff is things I use every day, like, obviously, other than like my gun and my medical, I hope I don't have to use every day. I don't know what kind of place I'd be living in, but a lot of the tools I use every single day at work, outside of work. Like, they're just very useful for me, but also it's just kind of fun to see what everyone's carrying. So thank you guys for sticking with me. And oh, one more thing I forgot. Before I do my outro here, I carry a pen. This is a Tactile Turn mini bolt action pen in titanium. glass blast finish. Not a whole lot to talk about, but yeah, I carry a pen every day. I don't know why I didn't say that. It's probably like one of my most used pieces of EDC gear. I write a ton at work every single day, writing up paperwork and documentation and NCRs and all that good stuff. So there's my pen. Now I'll actually do my outro, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about any of this gear, first of all, I will link most of this stuff in the description, links for you to actually go buy it if it's something you're interested in. But please leave me comments if you have any questions about anything. As always, thank you to Mike from Auxiliary Manufacturing for sponsoring the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.